Hey, this is Rick Casalge, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, what I wanted to go through are a few recovery back strengthening exercises specific for women. And I'll get Jenna to go through them and I'll kind of highlight the details of the exercises. And Jenna's going to go through the first one right now. Perfect. So it's the deadlift movement. So kind of breaking it down, you're in a standing position. You can do this with body weight, but it's a bit better if you have some sort of external resistance. So Jenna's got the dumbbells. When it comes to the foot position is about hip width apart. You're going to start in standing, then you're going to bend in the knee, then bend in the hip, bring in the weights just below the knees or to a point where your upper body is parallel to the floor. Then you're coming back up, really working on the glutes and the hamstrings, bringing you back to the start. So once again, in the upright position, bending the knee, bringing the hips back, hinging in the hips, going to a point where the dumbbells are just past your knees or till your upper body is parallel to the floor, and then returning back to the start. Perfect. Okay, so with that one, when it relates to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 5, time, smooth, controlled movement with a good contraction of the glutes and the hamstrings at the top position. And the intensity for this one will be light to moderate depending on your strength, but then also depending on how much load you have when it comes to the dumbbells. So that's the first one, and the purpose of that one is when it relates to back weakness, the stronger your glutes and hamstrings are, the more those muscles are able to provide support to your back. Now moving on to the second exercise. Okay, so there we go. So it's the bent over row. Now breaking it down, similar starting position as the deadlift. So Jenna's in a standing position. You can go without resistance, but it's better to have some sort of resistance. Looking at the foot position is about a hip width apart. And then Jenna's going to bend in the knees, bend at the hips, the trunks at an angle. She's going to hold that position, tighten the abdominal area, and then she's going to go through that rowing movement. Elbows are just passing the body, weights are coming back to the start, elbows passing, and then we go back to the start. Okay, we'll go from the starting position. So upright, then you're going to bend in the knees, bring the hips back, your upper body's at an angle, you're bent in the hip, you're bent in the knee, you're strong in the back, you're tight in the abdominal area, and then you're going through that rowing movement. Bring the elbow just, past the back, straight, bring it back, and back straight in start position. Okay, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for that one, sets are 1, repetitions, I would start off with 5, but then you can progress on to 10. Time, smooth, controlled movement with a good stop at the end position, really contracting the muscles in your mid-back. And looking at the intensity be light to moderate. It all depends upon the load that you have in your hands. Now the purpose for this one is we're trying to strengthen the back in a different position. So a lot of times people will just strengthen in a position where their back is in a nice upright position. Now with this one, we're focusing on that trunk bending forward, so we're strengthening the back in a different position with that bent over row exercise. Okay, moving on to the third exercise. Okay, so bridging exercise. So with this one, you're lying on the ground, your feet are about hip width apart, your hands are to the side, you're relaxing the upper body, you're going to tighten up the abdominal area, you're going to push through the heels, bring your hips up, and you bring your hips up to a point where your knee, hip, and shoulders are in a good straight line, then back to the start, and then moving back up again. Good, and back down, and we'll show it from another angle, good. So in that starting position, lying down, hands to the side, relaxing the upper body, you're bent in the knees, then you're going to tighten up that abdominal area, you're going to push through the heels, bring the hips up, shoulders, hips, and knee are in a straight line, back down, and then going back up again. Good, and back down, perfect. Now looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for that one, sets are 1, repetitions they start off with 5, but then you can progress on to 10. The time, smooth controlled movement with a good contraction, with a stop and a good contraction at the top of the glutes specifically, and secondarily the hamstrings. And looking at the intensity for this one it'll more be leaning towards the light side of things. Now with this exercise, what we're targeting once again is the glutes, but then also the core area. So we're kind of activating the muscles around the back in order to kind of strengthen them and strengthen your back. Now moving on to the 4th exercise. Okay, good. So this is bird dogs. So you're in a 4-point position, hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips, head, shoulders, and hips are in a straight line. You're going to tighten up that abdominal area. You're going to reach with one arm out front, reach back with the opposite leg, hold for a good second, then come back to the starting position. Good. Switch sides, reach with the right, reach with the left leg. Good. And then back to the start. We'll show it from another angle. Okay, 4-point position, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Tighten up that abdominal area, reaching forward with the left arm and then back with the right leg, holding for a second, coming back to the start, switching sides, reaching, holding for a second, coming back to the start, and relaxing. Good. So there you go. With that one, the sets, reps, time, and intensity. Sets are 1. Repetitions, I would do 5, alternating back and forth, so a total of 10. Time, smooth controlled movement with a good stop at the top position, so a second. Intensity for this one will be more on the light side of things. And looking at what we're targeting the muscles around the hip, around the opposite shoulder, so some people call it the core of the shoulder, and we're also working on strengthening those muscles around the back. Now moving on to the 5th exercise. Good. So we're in a front plank with leg kicks. So you're going to get into that front plank position, onto the forearms. Good. Tighten the abdominal area, tighten the glutes and the hamstrings. Then you're going to lift one leg up. Good. Back to the start. And then other side up and back to the start. Good. And then you can relax. And we'll show you from a different angle. So you're going in that forearm position, tighten the abdominal area, bringing one leg up and back down, then bringing the other leg up and back down. Good. So looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 5 on each side, so a total of 10 alternating back and forth. The time, smooth controlled movement with a good hold and contraction at the top position, really targeting on the glutes. And the intensity for this one will be light to moderate depending upon your core strength and the strength that you have in your glutes. Now looking at what we're targeting with this one, once again we're targeting those core muscles in the shoulder, the muscles around the hip, and then all the muscles around the core or back in order to strengthen your back. Because it's important to strengthen your back, but also strengthen the muscles above, which is around that shoulder blade, and also the muscles below, which end up being all the muscles around the hip. So there you go. Give those 5 exercises a go. They're 5 great exercises to strengthen your back and help you recover from back pain, specifically for women. Now, if you suffer from back pain and want some of my best tips and tricks when it relates to overcoming back pain, what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tips and Tricks That Fight Back Pain and Tightness. Just click right here. Let me know where to send you that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, or smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will be exercisesforinjuries.com/backs. Let me know where to send you that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, Leave it down below in the comment section. And lastly, hit subscribe to get future pain relieving videos.